Have you ever imagined the life in the nature? Do you know that some organisms like these ants are forming social groups and can communicate to each other? The way of communication is by exchanging of chemical signals. Thus the ants form colonies that range in size and live in peace there. But sometimes the deadly enemy is around there and waiting its prey. The ant comes face to face with this spider and only one will live another day. The ant lost this unequal battle because it was alone. But when many ants are together, they are fighting like an army. Even the bigger enemies as scorpion and grasshopper have no chance to escape from the numerous ant soldiers. The ants use a secret and deadly chemical weapon. They can spray formic acid on their prey that burn its organic tissues. When the prey is dead, the ants carry it to the nest for dinner. The wasps have tactical coordination to attack their target. They have also excellent vision. The ants and the wasps are two different insect civilizations at war. And no matter who wins, both sides are going to suffer from massive losses. Welcome to Saitama University. My name is Alexandre Loukanov and I'm working in the Division of Strategic Research and Development. Today I'm going to review some secrets in the nature which are related to the ecological chemistry. Look at the beauty of the campus. I'm inspired from the unique way of communications between the plants and animals. Let's go to my office to talk about it. The ecological chemistry is an interdisciplinary scientific field between ecology and chemistry, which examines the chemical interactions between living organisms and their environment. It studies also the biochemistry of ecology and the specific molecules or groups of molecules that function as signals to initiate a variety of biological processes such as metabolism. Molecules that serve in such roles typically are readily diffusible organic substances of low molecular mass. For example, the social insects are characterized by communities in which they live in permanent with their nestmates. Their social language can occur by various sensory channels, using visual, acoustic, sometimes magnetic, and especially chemical signals. In this episode, we will look at this communication system in some social insects. Let's start with the example of ingenious dance of the honeybee, which is used for multimodal information exchange. Outside is a beautiful and perfect day for vacation. But for the honeybee, it's time to get to work. The pollen is a protein-packed food which the bee should bring at home. But it is not so simple as you might think. Every bee is covered with 3 million hairs for trapping pollen. The bees even have eyes. They have amazing ability to communicate by dance. The dance is inside the nest. If the bee finds a flower, she goes at home and shows her dance. It almost looks like a figure eight, moving back and forth. The angle of movement and the duration of time tells the others where to go to find food. Basically, the longer she spends shaking, the farther away the food sources. Enjoy for a moment the beauty of its flight. The bees can also generate sound during the dancing due to vibrations. They cannot hear the sound as same as we hear it, instead they can feel it with the whole body. The sound communication is a way to tell each other about the danger close to the food source, like a giant hornet. In the forest of Asia, under the ground lives an insect with a deadly reputation. In the hornet venom, there is a cocktail of toxins, including bradykinin and calitine. Like they comes from the hell. These are the giant hornets. They are also one of the most poisonous predators on Earth. When the hornets find bees, they mark with pheromone the nest. It's a signal to attack. The pheromone attracts other giant hornets. The honeybees instinctively defend their lives, but they are not matched against the 5-time giant hornet. It's not a war, it's a massacre. Just one of these hornets can kill over 300 honeybees in an hour. Within 1 hour, almost 30,000 bees are already dead. It's a brutal execution of the entire colony. Now the hornets have much valuable proteins for their next generation killer insects. I'm sorry for the bad fate of the bees, but in the nature, nobody can promise a good future. The death of someone means life for another. As I already mentioned, the exchange of pheromones is a common way for chemical communication between the insects. Pheromones are chemicals capable of acting like hormones outside the body of the secreting individual. There are alarm pheromones, food trail pheromones, sex pheromones, and many others that affect behavior or physiology. It is now midnight and hundreds of moths are dancing under the sparkling lamps. There is an old theory that the night insects have evolved to travel by the way of the moon and the stars. This way of traveling is called transverse orientation. The female moths release sex pheromones in the air, which attracts the males. Male moths fly miles to find love. They don't know what the female sounds like or even what she looks like. But when they smell her, they use her seductive musk to track her down. Male moths are so sensitive to this chemical that they can discern tiny amounts of female reproduction pheromones across the length of a football field. When the male moths detect the female pheromones, they quickly become excited, flapping the wings searching for the source of pheromone. After looking the female, the male moth attempts close to her with aim for copulation. This is the action of attraction. Let's see how this process occurred in the nature. When a female moth releases her volatile sex pheromone into the air, it is carried by the wind like an invisible smoke plume from a chimney. The wind carries it into pockets of air with pheromone separated by clean air pockets. When a pocket of air with pheromone hits the antenna of a male searching on the wing, he responds by flying upwind for a fraction of a second. Most female moth sex pheromones consist of a specific combination of molecules. The male moth antennae are delicately designed to detect and distinguish even traces of these sex pheromones amongst the abundance of other odors. Because moth sex pheromones are highly attractive, they can be used in pest management strategy to attract male moths and also to disrupt meetings. Most of the pheromones are volatile organic molecules with long saturated hydrocarbon chain. They may contain some oxygen functional groups as epoxy, hydroxyl or carboxyl. For example, epoxy metal octadecane. Closely related species use the same molecules in different ratios or share many but not at all of the molecules. The differences allow males to distinguish females of their own species from those of other species. Even a dead female moth which smells with pheromone can attract males. The spiders can mimic the odor of female sex pheromones and in such a way attract the males. Some spiders are aggressive predators and can attract more than one species of prey. Their venom contains cocktail of deadly neurotoxins. Let's see how the spider hunts. Welcome back at the beautiful garden of Saitama University. The spiders are practically everywhere around us. They may look small, but spiders are an important part of every common ecosystem. The spider eats lots of insects, mostly those smaller than themselves, and thus controlling insect populations. Because many species overwinter, they can help reduce prey numbers early in the agriculture season, giving farmers and gardeners a leg up on the season. The purpose of today's episode was to introduce you into the chemical communication among the organisms in the natural environment. The communication often includes exchange of volatile chemical signals, known as chemical language, which guide the insect's behavior. All living organisms have these important signal systems which go back to the origins of life. Thank you for watching. I hope that the episode was interesting for you. See you next time. Bye bye!